Trailer for this guy who comes in on Thursdays, Jefferson Graham, the longtime writer on technology for USA Today, left USA Today doing his own thing now, which is all about photo walks, photography, but still a lot of tech information on his Substack, which hits my inbox automatically. I recommend it. You should subscribe. The big news, Jefferson Graham, that seems to get bigger and bigger every week is AI and the power of AI over us. And so, there was an I thought it was sort of alarming 60 Minutes piece that ran on Sunday where they sort of spoke to the power of and learning ability, this machine learning that goes on. I wonder if you could just give us a sense of, your sense particularly, of all of that and where that technology stands.
Okay, well, I just want to remind everybody that I believe it was last November, I said to you on one of these Thursday outings, this is the story of the year. This is the biggest thing that's happened to us since the iPhone launch, right? Remember?
Yeah, no, I think you were right to cast it that way, maybe even as something bigger than that. Yeah. I mean, it'll at least hit those marks in bigness. It might be even a bigger technology. That's what I wanted to ask you. I mean, how do you think it will be integrated into our lives?
In so many different ways, whether that's self cars that drive themselves and buses that drive themselves and resumes that write themselves and blog posts that write themselves. And I don't know about YouTube programs that don't need a host. I think us humans will still provide a lot. I did the old search this morning for Mark Thompson and my name. Now okay, you're not frozen now, but they didn't get you right. They had you being former guy at Fox who hosted a show on KLOS for 30 years. Right? Yeah,
well, to be fair, Mark Thompson, the name is common, and once you say radio and television, the other guy did radio and television too, and there are even more Mark Thompsons than that. The guy, the editor-in-chief of the New York Times and BBC, et cetera. So I give him a little wiggle room on that, but I consider that Google searchy type stuff. What I'm more concerned about and wondering about is the way, as you sort of suggested, these technologies write resumes, deal with you in customer service. I had a literal conversation with someone in customer service yesterday, at which time, because she seemed a little slow in getting what my problem was, and I thought I was explaining it pretty easily and in a straightforward way, I literally asked her, "What? Are you a bot or are you?" I said, with all respect, I just want to make sure, are you a bot or am I talking to a human being? And she said, "Oh, no, I'm a human being." So
that's good.
But my point is, these are questions that all of a sudden have become reasonable to ask.
Okay, well, my experience every time I go to customer service is that they try to put the bot on you and you get absolutely nowhere. Despite the advances, and we're talking about how cool AI is, the bots are still way behind in customer service. You get absolutely nowhere, and you just have to keep saying customer representative, human being, until you can get somewhere. And it's pretty rough. I don't know if you can figure it out, but I'm in a hotel room this week. I'm in Columbus, Ohio. And I flew Spirit Airlines here for the first time. I don't know if you've ever had that luxury, Mark.
What?
Was it? Anyway, how much was it? $18?
No,
was it $18?
It was the fare wasn't that bad at the base rate, and then they keep adding things. If you want to take a backpack, it's $60. If you want to bring a bigger bag, it's $80, and it goes on and on and on. But it was still a mess at the airport, total mess, and they're relying on AI and things like that to deal with baggage, and they just are way behind. So we still need humans there. Now,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
I just want to say that the piece you saw on 60 Minutes was a puff piece about Google. Google is behind in AI. You would never get that impression from watching that story. Microsoft and a company called OpenAI, they're the ones who are far ahead of Google. Google is having a really hard time catching up, and they're watching their market share. There was a story that Samsung is considering dropping Google as the search engine on Android phones.
What?
And using Microsoft instead. So it was pretty puffy, I think.
Wow, that's great. I didn't realize that. Yeah, they really came out as fairly stout. And they also came out as hugely responsible for sort of hand-wringing over the future of AI. You know, he had this sense that, man, they really get the philosophical implications for humanity. Do you have some of that piece, Albert? Weren't we going to run some of it?
Yeah, I had some of the concerns about it, so we could.
Here's a little bit from the 60 Minutes piece.
Sundar, I wonder what keeps you up at night.
So Sundar is the
issue of AI.
CEO of Google, obviously.
The urgency to work and deploy it in a beneficial way. But at the same time, it can be very harmful if deployed wrongly. And we don't have all the answers there yet, and the technology is moving fast. So does that keep me up at night? Absolutely.
Can you keep up with that speed of innovation and make sure it remains on, if you will, a human scale?
I think one of the things we need to be careful when it comes to AI is avoid what I would call race conditions, where people working on it across companies, et cetera, so get caught up in who's first that we lose, the potential pitfalls and downsides to it.
You are going slowly.
Jefferson would say, of course he's going to say that because he's not first.
OpenAI and Microsoft acted irresponsibly.
OpenAI speak about this, and I think there are many views. I think one of the points they've made is, you don't want to put a technology out like this when it's very, very powerful because it gives society no time to adapt. I think that's a reasonable perspective. I think there are responsible people there trying to figure out how to approach this technology, and so are we.
Google's motto at its inception was "Don't be evil," but Sundar Pichai has modified that a little bit. What would you say that Google's values are?
It's rooted in our mission. It is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. Our founders captured it well with "Don't be evil." We really want to be as helpful as possible to as many users everywhere, with the goal of improving their knowledge, success, health, and happiness. So that's how I think about our company.
Don't be evil is still a driving.
Yeah.
Let's ask the hundreds of employees at Google who just got laid off in an email if they think that Google is evil. I bet they would say yes.
The layoffs that have hit Silicon Valley, Google, Meta, and beyond, I mean, it's been a pretty big bloodbath. They have been sort of handled in an email way. Is that the way these tech companies they seem to do business that way, even when it comes to personnel?
Google did an email. Twitter did. You couldn't log on. You couldn't log on and get into your corporate email, and that's how they found out they were fired.
I mean, it seems as though these companies that sort of profess to be in the category of aware, you know what I mean? They are cutting edge, both in terms of technology. They're the young bucks, a lot of the kind of the young Turks type thing. They come on, they're the rebels. They seem to be, almost regressive in the way they view people.
It's worse than changing a format of a radio station and just announcing something at 10:10 in the morning, right?
Yeah, we've had our experience as well. Yeah, I suppose it is. I don't know. That's an interesting comparison, but
I think refreshing your email every 5 minutes to see if you've been fired or not is pretty awful.
Right. There is a lot of humanity lost in technology, and so instead of, we want technology to serve us, we want technology to enhance the work experience. It seems as though there's a lot of cruelty associated with technology, and I feel as though that trend only seems to continue. When I speak to you about these various things, I even become more dejected about it. I just think that the way it's helping us is not helping us.
Well, if I want to let you go, it's a lot easier not to look you in the eye and not have to speak to you. And
Sure.
That's what they're doing, right? And then CEOs say, hey, this person should be fired. Hey, you go fire him, right? Or her.
Right, exactly.
And Murdoch divorce was by email. I think he broke off the engagement by email, right?
Yeah, no, he broke off the engagement and literally broke up with her via email. He said,
"There's never been anything like this."
I'll have my lawyers contact your lawyers. So let me say, if I could do that, I would probably do it. I mean, not now, but I'm saying through life. It's so hard to look somebody in the eye and, say, hey, this relationship is just
Yeah, I
probably,
think there've been a lot of breakups, but via email and text, right?
yeah, now I think it's a bigger thing.
But then you have to wonder if they got it. Did it go through?
I mean, at this point, can't we just go on ChatGPT and have
Have
the
them
bot
write
something real
Yeah.
nice to
Right.
say?
Yeah. Let me remind
write a
everybody
breakup letter for me.
that you go to ChatGPT by going to openai.com or by going to the new Bing. Bing, and there's a little chat bot in there, and you click the button, and it's pretty good. And Google Bard is invite only, but Bing is now open to the general public.
I got the invite to Google Bard. Thank you.
Did you give
But
it a try?
I,
Did you
but I
try
think
it?
I think I did. But I'm not trying it with any. Thank you. I'm so proud. The ways in which I can road test it, I don't know really what they are. Like, give me a couple of ways that I could road test how good Google
Tell
Bard
me
is. Or any
about
of
the
these.
radio broadcaster Mark Thompson. Usually start there. Most people would start with themselves and see
Yeah, but
what.
isn't that just that's like a Google thing? You can just pick that up. But you're saying, but that's the idea. It Google's the universe about you, data about you and your show, and then it spits it out. Is that what you mean?
I'd like to go to Paris in June. I'd like you to find me 5 affordable hotels.
Right.
What's
That's
Cologne-
what.
What's
right.
Cologne like in the spring? When's the
Okay.
best time to visit? Stuff like that you don't get in a Google search. You get
Yes,
more.
you did, and you did that. I remember in a Substack. I think it was. Didn't I read it in your Substack? Yeah, it was really cool, actually. So anyway, that's one reason you should check out Jefferson's Substack. Now he's live from Columbus, Ohio, and you're going to be live from there. You do a live thing each day, each Thursday. Now you're frozen, so hopefully you get that worked out by the time you have your live event. Jefferson Graham needs that Wi-Fi upgraded.
Yeah, we need to do like the best hotel Wi-Fi's in the United States here, because
you can take that particular hotel Wi-Fi off that list, Jefferson Graham.
if
but
he
put
joins
it
back, we could button out the segment. If not, we could just
yeah. How would you handle this? We could try ignoring it, sir.
We could try ignoring it, sir.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we can ignore it. We kind of drew attention to it. But how about it for Jefferson Graham, everybody? Yeah.
The Mark Thompson Show.
We should just leave the frozen image of Jefferson Graham up there the whole time. That would have been fun. But, yeah.
Jefferson,
Anyway.
blink twice if you're in any danger right now.
Smashed it with your iron rod.
Smash it with your iron rod. The thumbs up button. New technology can really be a little bit of an issue sometimes. I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is everybody goes, oh my God, AI, it's going to change our lives. I mean, it's going to take in a whole university full of legal texts when offering a legal opinion. No human could do that. It's going to take in a whole medical university's text and data when it puts together its opinions as to a diagnosis medically, right? It's going to do all of these things. And then when you get to it, you end up with the challenges that we were talking about. I was there at the beginning of a hotel in Las Vegas called the Aria Hotel. I was there the first 2 weekends, and it was being hailed as a technological miracle. In addition to being such a great hotel, apparently the technology in the room and the ways in which you would interact with that technology throughout the hotel, whatever you needed, that was just cutting-edge technology. So I go for this opening weekend. It is a Friday evening in Las Vegas at this new Aria Hotel. They just cut the ribbon, and it's open. And it was a disaster. The backup of lines of people checking in, hour and a half. Finally, when I got my room key, I went to the room, and they had this new kind of key system. It was all very techy. And it is sexy, you know, all the technology and I opened the door to my room. And this was the first thing that was kind of weird. I saw a bag there, like right by the front door. And I thought, this is a little bit odd. And, it's all happening in a nanosecond. You open the door, and I look beyond, and there is a guy on the bed lying naked. I'm thinking, I didn't order like the fruit bowl and a naked guy for my entrance in the hotel on my first night. So I'm guessing something is right.
Are you sure you didn't call ahead and request, a little something extra?
Thanks for the thought is what I'm thinking. But, you just don't know me very well. It's just not scratching my itch.
I'd be willing to bet my lunch that there's alcohol involved.
So, it's just early in the day for me. Okay. So I go back down, and again, it's insane. I mean, it's, hour and a half wait just to get to this new technology that's supposed to make, your experience so great. And I go back, and I have to get a hold of a clerk and say, hey, there's a naked guy in my room.
I don't think this is the room you meant to give me.
Yes.
Smashed it with your iron rod.
I should have smashed it.
Oh,
Hey,
my.
dude. Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.